opus 118 number 2. Now this is an ABA form, and it has basically 8 repeats of the main phrase, which is a question kind of a phrase, right? Which is this. And so that you get to play 8 times. The goal generally is to evolve it, right? Music, as all performances, are evolutionary. So you don't want to play the same things over and over again exactly the same way. So there has to be some kind of a change occurring over time. And it's particularly important with pieces that have repetitive elements to them. Because if the music is completely through composed, like a lot of new music, there's a lot of new material, so you don't always have to reinvent the wheel, as it were. But with music from, German 19th century music, I mean, there are repetitions galore. And you need to find new ways of saying it so that it makes sense and it doesn't sound gratuitous, like you're just doing it for the sake of doing it. And I particularly love that piece, so for me it was a lot of fun to, when I finally decided to learn it and perform it for real, to create my narrative for it, which I'll share with you. And it is about a person's life, right? So the character that I am in it starts off young, lives for about 50, 60 years, and at the end of the piece, they're not dying or anything, but they're much, much older and sort of changed, and having survived things. And doing those things to that character is incredibly satisfying and a lot of fun. And ABA form is great for that because it gives you, in the first A, you're a young, vibrant person who's exploring the world. What are the obvious kind of interpretive ideas that come to mind associated with that? Probably slightly more forward motion, right? Exaggerated dynamic a little bit, a bit more of a crescendo decrescendo happening. Excitement, in other words. Excitement, drive, vitality, youth, all those things. So in the shaping of the phrase and in the flow of the music, I'm thinking, instead of, figuring out how I'm going to bend the finger, I'm just thinking young, vital, curious, and questioning everything. So you get sort of... starts to happen. This is the exploration part. So again, I'm following what's in the music, so I'm giving all those crescendos just a little bit of a well, exaggeration is too strong of a word, but a little bit more of a curve. And now this is where things start to happen, and they don't go very well. So in the beginning, we really change the pace, and it's really like a middle period, maturity. So this is the characters meeting their spouse, and they're getting married, and you fast forward, and they have family. Why is there two people? There's a duet, right? So you set up this sort of romantic longing of one person to meet the other, and then they meet. So it's important to play the repeat, because unless you don't, they don't meet. Then there's the religious epiphany, right? So this, a midlife crisis. When one reconciles, their own real thoughts about spirituality versus what you taught as a child. Whatever that is to you, this is my narrative. You don't have to repeat it, but this is what gets me into the zone. And then, of course, there's a trouble in paradise, because it all gets upside down, and with this... That's where it gets interesting, because this is where you question the question. This is an important moment, because this is perhaps what it should have been all along. That arrival is actually what you missed playing the other note all this time. And then there's a regret that settles in. So when you get there, so there's a sense of regret and sort of inexorability and beauty. And yet there is hope, because the piece ends with a question. No one died, nobody killed anybody, which is what happens a lot in drama of the 19th century. But the beauty of it is that when you play the last of these, and I literally exhale with it thinking I'm going to go, right? And you just don't. And then people feel that you're just literally exhaling, and you're in the middle of the thought. It's not the end. There's no double bar at the end. It's an open-ended question end. And, this is my narrative.